The Sexual Harassment Act 2021, Section 2. Interpretation and application, subsection 1. In this act, unless the context otherwise requires, accommodation includes residential and business accommodation. So this covers what might happen in your private home or in your workplace. Client means a person who conducts business with an employer. Complaint means a person who makes a complaint pursuant to the provisions of this act. Oh, that's complainant means a person who makes a complaint pursuant to the provisions of this act. Complaint means a complaint made pursuant to section 27. Contractor means a person who is hired by an employer to perform specific work or provide a specific service for compensation or reward. Correctional institution has the meaning assigned to it in section 2 of the Corrections Act. Court means the parish court. Co-worker in relation to a worker means another person who is employed by the employer of the worker. So as long as both of you have the same employer, you are co-workers. Document means in addition to a document in writing, anything in which information of any description is recorded. Okay. Domestic worker means a worker who performs work in a household on a professional or occupational basis. Employer means a person who engages in any form a worker. Employment includes any form of engagement of a worker. Hearing means a hearing conducted by the tribunal pursuant to Part 6 in relation to a complaint. Institution includes a school, college, university, and other places of learning or training. A correctional institution or lockup within the meaning of section 2 of the Corrections Act. That's also an institution. Institution is also a place of safety within the meaning of section 2 of the Child Care and Protection Act or any other place for the custody of minors. It can mean a nursing home within the meaning of section 2 of the Nursing Home Registration Act or any other place for the custody of the elderly. A medical facility is also an institution or a psychiatric facility. An institution is also considered to be a place for the use of any facility by members of any organization. And it also means such other place or facility as the minister may, by order published in the Gazette, designate as an institution for the purpose of this act. Psychiatric facility has the meaning assigned to it in section 2 of the Mental Health Act. Respondent in relation to a complaint means the person who is alleged to have committed the act to which the complaint relates. Sexual advance includes any one or more of the following acts, forms of conduct or behavior, namely a physical contact of a sexual nature, which means actual touching. B, a demand or request for sex or for favor of a sexual nature. C, the making of sexual suggestions, remarks, or innuendos. That is C. I paused my recording and looked up the word innuendos online. It says here an allusive or oblique remark or hint, typically a suggestive or disparaging one. So it can be verbal, a remark, or some type of hint, probably in the form of a body language. All right, we continue. D, the showing of pornography or the display of images or objects of a sexual nature. E, any other physical gesture, verbal, non-verbal, or visual conduct of a sexual nature. Sexual harassment means the making of any unwelcome sexual advance towards a person by another person, which does what? A, is regarded as offensive or humiliating by the person towards whom the sexual advance is made, or B, has the effect of 1, interfering with the work performance of the person to whom the sexual advance is made, or 2, creating an intimidating, offensive, or a hostile work environment, and references to the term sexually harassed shall be construed accordingly. Sexual harassment claim. It means a sexual harassment claim made pursuant to Section 5 or 6. Supervisor in relation to a worker means a co-worker who, by virtue of the co-worker's employment, is in a position of authority over that worker. Okay. Tribunal means sexual harassment tribunal constituted under Part 4. Worker means a person who carries out work in any capacity for an employer, including work as an employee, whether in the private or public sector, or B, a domestic worker. C, a person engaged under a contract for service or a subcontractor of that person. An employee of a person or subcontractor referred to in paragraph C, and E, a person whose service is procured or arranged by a company which is in the business of supplying workers or other businesses, and who has been assigned to work in the business or undertaking. F, worker can mean an apprentice, a trainee, or an intern. It can mean a student gaining work experience. It can mean a volunteer. It also can mean a person of a class prescribed by the minister for the purpose of this definition, after consultation with the minister with responsibility for labor. Now at subsection 2, any reference in this act to conduct of a sexual nature in relation to a person includes a reference to the making or to or in the presence of a person of a statement of a sexual nature concerning that person, whether the statement is made orally or in writing. All right. 3. In order to determine whether any act, conduct, or behavior constitutes sexual harassment, A, all of the circumstances surrounding the act, conduct, or behavior shall be taken into consideration. B, it shall be considered whether the act, conduct, or behavior constituted a course of conduct or if not, was a significant single instance sufficiently serious to be so determined, and C, the discrimination or the determination shall be based on the findings in the particular case. The provisions for this act shall not apply to a person who is under the age of 16 years. For the purposes of section 13 subsection 2, a person is a fit and proper person if the person has been convicted of an offense involving fraud, dishonesty, or moral turpitude, or of an offense listed in the second schedule of the Proceeds of Crime Act, or an offense that is similar to any such offense in another jurisdiction. 2. That person is not a bankrupt within the meaning of the Insolvency Act. And 3. That person is a fit and proper person if that person is in compliance with any tax and other statutory requirements imposed on the person. B. The employment record of the person or any other information does not give the minister reasonable cause to believe that the person carried out any act involving dishonesty or impropriety that will interfere with the ability of the person to fulfill his or her functions. And C. The person is, in the opinion of the minister, 1. A person of sound probity and is able to exercise competence, diligence, and sound judgment in the fulfilling of their functions, or a person who possesses the knowledge, skill, and experience which are necessary for the intended functions to be carried out by that person. And 3. A person whose appointment will not raise an issue of conflict or interest or undue influence.